the curious learner bias. It is my favorite bias to exploit in marketing. I'm going to talk about how to use it if you are a startup founder and to get huge traction with it on TikTok, and how to use it if you're trying to get a job. Using the curious learner bias is the same for being a startup founder and trying to get a job. Using it is the same. We are on episode 95 of The Edward Show. I started this show with episode 1, and then a week went by and I did episode 2, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to make this a daily show because that is a way to stand out. I like doing things that stand out. Doing things that stand out, that's a hack right there. That's a growth hack, doing things that stand out. And if you want to stand out, utilize the curious learner bias. What is the curious learner bias? If you've listened to my show before, I don't talk about it as often as I should because it is my favorite human bias. If you are a curious learner who talks about what you're learning about all the time, people will see you not as a curious learner, not as a learner, but as an expert. People will see you as an expert because you are talking about what you are learning about, and then all these opportunities will come to you. That is a curious learner bias. And the best place to utilize the curious learner bias is TikTok. So I'm going to talk today on how to utilize the curious learner bias on TikTok as a startup founder or as somebody who is trying to get a job. I'm actually going to give an example with my friend Cybele. I motivated her into starting a TikTok using this bias, and I think it's pretty exciting. I'm excited for her. So let me give you an example of a startup founder. And the reason I even recommend TikTok in the first place, the distribution on TikTok is such a meritocracy in terms of content. You can actually build a loyal following on TikTok. It won't be as loyal as the other platforms, but it will be somewhat loyal. You can build that. And there will be people who are fanatics about your content on TikTok who will go and binge your stuff. That's happened to me. So I've seen it. I know. I'm Build in Public on TikTok. If you want to check me out, Build in Public on TikTok. But TikTok is a meritocracy, so if your content is somewhat interesting, it will do well. And if you're learning about something, you will be talking about it passionately, which conveys interest, it conveys engagement, and that will make your video do better. The algorithm will push it out more. So here's the example that I'm going to give. Let's say that I actually asked ChatGPT to give me some cool tech startup ideas. This is what I got. This is the number one. You have a virtual nutritionist app. It's a platform that uses AI to analyze users' diets, lifestyles, and goals to provide personalized nutrition recommendations and meal plans. Here's what you would do as the startup founder. It could be you, or if you have funding, you could get somebody to do this. You could get somebody in a low GDP per capita location as an actor or actress. And if you don't have the funding, you can do it yourself. If you have the funding, you'd have a scriptwriter. If you don't have funding, you would just learn. And every day you would share something that you are learning every single day. And some of those videos are going to slap. Some of those videos are going to do well. And in your bio, you have your one-liner for what the app does, and then you have a link to the homepage. And it's really that simple. You put out a video every day on TikTok about what you're learning in nutrition. Eventually, you get top of mind awareness for nutrition with some people, or for maybe nutrition and AI. Top of mind awareness, that means when you think of a niche, you think of the person or the company that has top of mind awareness. When you think about fast food, you think about McDonald's. When you think about shoes, you think about Nike. It used to be when you thought about podcasts, you thought of Joe Rogan. And that's why Joe Rogan's brand was acquired for $200 million by Spotify. That's how you would utilize a curious learner bias if you had a tech startup. You make a video every day. Not every video is going to do well, but with time, actually, more people will watch your stuff. The best hack, you can use a tool. It's called reusevideo.com. And it makes it so whenever you put out a video on TikTok, it comes out on every other platform. It comes out simultaneously on Instagram Reels, on YouTube Shorts, on Pinterest, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. It comes out simultaneously without the TikTok watermark, reusevideo.com. It is just the most amazing growth hack that I know if you're doing TikTok. So you come out everywhere. I do that. I'm growing on every platform. I use this tool. I'm probably their biggest power user. I love this tool. And you make a video every day, you grow on every platform. People think of your niche, they think of you, they go and they use your app. They try your app, they're curious, you make improvements. Occasionally you share the improvements that you make because the people who follow you are interested in the niche that your app satisfies. They try the iterations and then you get users again. And you become like, this is kind of what happened to me when I started making videos every day, as people started watching my stuff or listening to my podcasts. Before this, I was reliant on launch platforms for getting my startups out there. I was reliant on Product Hunt, which is the number one platform for launching a tech startup or launching an iteration to a tech startup, Beta List as well. I was reliant on Reddit. And then I became my own Product Hunt. And this is the weirdest thing. I can have a big update to my app or even a small one, and I can make some videos about it, and then people will go and try it. Or I can now run the Twitter X. I didn't know the Twitter X ads glitch before, so I can do that. Oh, I was also reliant on search engine optimization. And search engine optimization is overall my favorite channel because everything that you do contributes to having positive SEO. If you're going viral on TikTok a lot, people will go to your website more and they'll share your website more. Your domain authority will improve, which will allow you to target more lucrative and more competitive keywords that are like, it's just amazing. It's amazing. So search engine optimization, my overall favorite channel, but I think TikTok is my favorite hack. The thing about setting up an SEO funnel is unless you go viral, it will take a couple of months to rank. And that's okay because like you can set up SEO pages that are bottom of funnel, spend 3 months doing that, and they will get you customers for years to come, and you don't have to do any more work. That's why SEO is the best. TikTok, you always have to make videos. But look, everyone's learning something. Everyone's studying, and I think my favorite people are learning stuff every day. And if you're learning something in a specific niche, then like spend 30 minutes a day making a video about that. And after a year, you will be shocked at where you are. Like if you actually think about what you can do in a year, if you're making a video a day about what you're learning, it's crazy. I'm not even a year in. I can't believe the engagement that I have. The people who are watching my stuff, who subscribe to my newsletter, the people who are listening to this podcast. Thank you to the people who are listening to the podcast. I really can't believe it. All right, the final example I want to give is my friend Cybele. She came to New York City from a smaller city in China. She's from China. She came to New York City from the smaller city that she was living in China. She's been here for a year and a half, and she is learning machine learning and trying to get a job, and she really wants to get a job. And I told her, Cybele, you are a curious learner. You are learning about machine learning. You are talking about it. Humans have this bias, the curious learner bias. We have the curious learner bias where we associate curious learners as experts. And I said, Cybele, you need to be on TikTok talking about machine learning and the things that you are learning every day, Cybele. I said that to her. And I explained, like, if you do that every day, you don't miss a day. If you do that every day, slowly there will be, first of all, people who are on TikTok who are interested in machine learning will follow you, so you'll grow in your niche. But as you keep on popping up in these people's feeds, eventually they will start to associate machine learning with you. You will be one of the people that they think of when they think of machine learning because you're so vocal about it. And if you're learning about something, you have engagement, you have passion. People will feel that. They will watch you more. You'll do better. And then instead of having to go and solicit employers like you're doing now and spending so much time just fruitlessly trying to get a job, I hate it when people do that. They send out letter after letter, email after email, begging people to get a job. And then it for months they do this. Even talented people do this. For months they do this and they still don't have it. And if instead they had built a following just talking about what they were learning in their niche, employers would come to them. Employers would come to them. And that's why this is like, it drives me crazy when I see people doing this. And you might say, oh, well, I don't want to fail publicly on TikTok and have people like, I don't want to make people, I'm going to be bad at the beginning and I don't want people to see that. If you make bad content on TikTok, no one will see it. The algorithm won't push it out. No one will see it. So it's the best. So here's what happened. I tell her all of this. I tell Cybele all of this. And she gets inspired. She's like, I'm going to do it when I get home. And I'm like, no, we're going to do it now. And she's like, all right, let's do it now. Because I tell her, like, if you wait to do this, you're going to wait one day. It's going to turn into 2 days. It's going to turn into a week. It's going to turn into a month. It's not going to happen. So we're going to do it now. And so she goes on ChatGPT and she says, she's tall. So she goes, I am a tall Chinese girl who is learning. She just writes everything about herself, who is learning about machine learning. And I'm going to talk about it on TikTok every day. I need a username. ChatGPT suggests all these usernames. We take our favorite one and change it a little bit. So she's now Cybele. She is Cybele Scales ML on TikTok. Takes her favorite picture of herself, puts it up as her picture. I write for the description, machine learning lessons and news every day. That's the description. She can't put in a link yet. You need more than 1,000 followers on TikTok in order to put a link in your bio. So she can't do that yet. And then she goes home and she makes her first video. I think it was actually a pretty good video for her first video. And if she can be consistent with this, if she can stick to it every day, I mean, she'll grow so fast. I think she's in a great niche and she's very unique looking for the niche as well. So that'll help. But look, it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter. Like that helps. But like if you are bringing value by talking about things that interest you every day, like the interest that you have will come through. Good content is just energy transference. I say that all the time. I got that from the podcast, My First Million. I love that podcast. And one of the hosts said, good content is energy transference. I have found that myself. When I am excited about a piece of content that I am making, it always does better. It always does better. And if you were learning about something, you bring passion to it. And people love that. The curious learner bias, that's what it is. You really would use it the same. If you're a startup founder, you just talk about stuff that you're learning in your niche each day. Make a video a day. You'll get better at making these videos. And if you're trying to get a job, talk about things that you're learning in your niche as well. And instead of people viewing you as a curious learner, they will view you as an expert, and you will get all the opportunities. People will go to your links and offer you stuff, and it'll be great. That is my favorite bias. And it pairs well with a lot of other marketing channels. This is episode 95 of The Edward Show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I hope I brought value with this episode. And like I said, the biggest hack is you use reusevideo.com, and it makes it so the videos that you put on TikTok simultaneously come out everywhere else, so you can grow on every other channel. Thank you all so much for listening. I will talk to all of you again tomorrow. Bye now.